Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. This time it is a review of a Blu-ray, Class of 1999. This was a gift sent to me by my good friend Michael Keane, aka Phantasm. And I have reviewed this film before. I reviewed it a few years ago because a very nice guy named First Power 100 had sent me the DVD. And again, I still have that review up. If I remember, I'll put the review down below if you want to hear more of my thoughts on the film itself. So first off, thanks to First Power 100 if he's ever sees this, and to Michael Keane for this wonderful gift. Thank you for that. As for the film, it's directed by Mark L. Lester, who directed Commando, Showdown in Little Tokyo, Class of 1984, all great movies, and he also directed this, which is kind of, but not really a sequel to Class of 1984. And came out in 1990, pretty much in the future. Their youth gang violence have been developing more and more in areas, especially around schools. So they want something to take the school back from the gangs. Principal is played by Malcolm McDowell from A Clockwork Orange. So he becomes part of this program where you get these three teachers. John P. Ryan, Patrick Kilpatrick from, he was the Sandman, the bad guy in Death Warrant, with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Pam Grier. These three teachers become new teachers at this school, but then you find out they're actually robots. And the gangs have to come together, and our main guy is Bradley Gregg, who was in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, The Dream Warriors. He was the guy who, he did this, Freddy led him to his death, and Ken Sagoes was like, have a nice stroll, asshole, as Kincaid. So the guy that went like this and as a puppet got led to his doom by Freddy in Elm Street 3, this is where he got to be the lead in the film. It also has Tracy Lynn, who was in Fright Night Part 2. You have Joshua Miller, who was the little kid in Near Dark, the vampire kid in Near Dark. Stacy Keach is a scientist who helped create these robots, who has a very weird look, sort of albino hair, contact lenses. Good cast, very fun special effects, practical. One of the guys who did the effects is Eric Allard, who worked on Johnny Five, Short Circuit. Those effects. Did a great job with the puppeteering and practical, real, no CGI. And the action is great. I mean, when they break down Pam Grier's cyborg, is android, however you want to call it, flamethrowing and motorcycles being blown out of the school. Patrick Kilpatrick has a missile launcher and is shooting missiles, and very entertaining movie. You'd call it a B movie, but that doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Very entertaining film. But again, if you want to hear more of my thoughts, I did do a review long ago. I think this is a very underrated film. Like the music, especially the song at the end called Come the Day. Runs at a good fast pace. Now again to the Blu-ray, like this cover, I think it's the original theatrical cover, much better than the cover on the DVD, which is just a guy who's not even in the movie on the cover, just staring as if he's a wannabe Terminator. Although this was like Destro's in the movie, like Destro from G.I. Joe is the bad guy killing people. That'd be a hell of a movie. Oh, they did that. It was called Laid to Rest. No. But Destro, this is like Destro's in the movie, but he's not. Cool cover, though. This is a slipcover. It's part of Vestron's Collector Series, which is cool they're getting to the market because they did Choppy Mall, Waxwork 1 and 2. Those were good releases. Now, this is what the disc looks like. There is no other side of the sleeve, which is too bad. Would have been nice. I like, there's one cover where it's Patrick Kilpatrick's character with the missile up front. It's beautiful painting. I like Pam Grier and the other teacher at the bottom middle. I used it for the thumbnail in my review from years ago. Would have been nice if maybe that or something else on the other side. I would say if you're a fan of the movie, it's worth picking up because they don't trash the movie. The picture quality, I'm not the best when it comes to describing the picture quality. I know this is digitally restored and I think it's definitely better than the DVD. I will say I noticed some rough spots, maybe it's just me, especially in the third act, where there'd be like white dots appear, which I guess, I don't know, you call that film scratches or whatever you want to call it. But like you watch the film and like these very teeny tiny like white dots will appear every once in a while, and mainly when the third act kicks in. But it might have been before too. And it's not going to blow you away, the picture quality. But again, it was nice for me to see. I definitely prefer the look of it to the DVD. So I'm glad to have it in HD. But I'm sure some people would be like, it could have been more HD, but I don't know. I'm not the best when it comes to picture quality. It looked fine to me. Could be improved though. The features, you have an audio commentary producer director Mark L. Lester, which is cool that at the beginning he says this is one of the films he's the most proud of. This is one of his, I think he specifically said, this is one of his favorites that he's done. The problem with the commentary, it's one of those where there's a lot of dead space, meaning there's a lot of times where he's not talking. And there's sometimes I'm like, did I have the commentary on? Did I switch the commentary off? Then he pipes up, oh, okay, he's still there. So I wish there was a moderator to keep him talking. Because when Mark L. Lester talks, he has a certain, I don't want to say peppiness, but he has a certain, he's not glum, he's not grouchy, he's quite the opposite. But it's like he needed a moderator. He needed someone to ask him and push him questions to keep him talking. Because there's too many spots, sometimes very long spots, where he's not speaking at all. So that's the problem I have with the commentary. The interviews are pretty decent. You have about a 22-minute interview with Martel Lester and co-producer Eugene Mazzola. He gives some nice info. There's certain areas of LA have been taken over by gangs and houses were robbed. I think even Martel Lester himself was robbed, and that helped him get the inspiration for the story of this. And I said, okay, what if there was a school in the middle of this? I was like, man, the way it is today, the guy in class of 1984, that teacher, if he was in Chicago today, he'd be killed. So, man, it'd have to be mechanical, like robots. Which is where he, again, came up with the idea of it. This was shot in Seattle, rained every day. He wanted Malcolm McDowell because he was a big fan of Clockwork Orange. Asking advice from Malcolm McDowell because he wanted the lead guy, Bradley Grade, to not be too low-key. So he's like, well, what should I do? What should I tell him? He's like, well, to be charming and likable. And that's the direction he gave to Bradley Grade. They give props to Malcolm McDowell and Stacy Keach. The idea of Stacy Keach having that look in the film was not in the script. That was Stacy Keach's idea. For those who don't know, Stacy Keach, he was the lead in Road Games. He was in Escape from LA, Body Bags, John Carpenter's Body Bags. He was in the segment called Hair, Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. He's been in quite a few films. Good actor. Yeah, he came up with the idea of the character being an albino with the contacts and the hair. It wasn't in the script. Pam Grier, they give praise to Pam Grier, her being humble, and her off time, she would actually, her and her family would help the homeless. They would help at missions, feed the homeless and the poor. So that was nice to hear. Mark Lester tells a story about he was looking at bands at a bar. There's this one band. It's like, hey, can I buy some of your songs? Okay. And it was Nine Inch Nails, which is why one of their songs, I think, Head for a Hole or Hole for a Head, I forget the name of it. I think that's one of the songs in this movie because of that. And pretty much how Vestron went out of business and they had to try to find a way to sell the film in order to get a bit of a theatrical release. And they seem proud of the movie. A good interview. I would say the best interview on the disc. You get about 22 minutes long. You have a 19-minute interview with screenwriter C. Courtney Joyner, which he seems pretty proud of the film too. It's also about how he got involved with the project, writing the film. Rose McGowan is in the movie. He mentions that, and they actually show the footage that if you had to freeze it, but she is in the movie. If you blink it, you'll miss her, but they at least pause it for you to say, oh shit, Rose McGowan is in the movie. Also, one of the girls is the daughter of Larry Cohen. Thought that was interesting. One part of the script that he had written, but they weren't able to do, was the three teachers, because they have certain weapons. He wanted them to all come together and form this sort of tank, and then they'd each be shooting their weapons. But like, well, we couldn't afford that. It'd be stop motion, and so they stuck with. I'm fine with the way it is because I don't know about them joining together to be a tank. But I don't know. Good interview, worth a look. You have another interview about 19 minutes long with Eric Allard and Rick Stratton, who worked on the special effects in the movie. There's a third guy who was on the team, but he passed away, unfortunately. And I guess that guy was actually a DC artist, DC Comics artist back in the day. And they pretty much talk about making the effects, how they made the robot Patrick Kilpatrick with the missile arm, and how they did the whole thing with Pam Grier when she opens her chest up, and like going through the effects on how they made the robotics. And then you have a 19-minute interview with director of photography Mark Irwin. More of a technical interview. I mean, it's cool. It's the guy who did The Blob, The Fly, in this movie. He's a DP. But again, I guess if you want to look at more of the technical aspects, he does about how his camera crew, the cameras he used, the look of the school, things of that nature. I guess it depends how interested you are in hearing about the DP work. But that's 19 minutes long. Overall, decent. I'm glad to have it on Blu-ray, to have it in. For me, it was better quality than the DVD. To hear some interviews with Mark Lester and them talking about the film and praising the film. In the interview with the director as well as the co-producer, the interview with the special effects guys, the interview with the screenwriter were fine. Again, just a few things. One, the picture quality maybe fits up a little bit more so that there's not like white dots that appear. Like you could pause it and then scrub that dot out and scrub that white out. Like maybe you need a little bit more fixing with the scratches or roughness of it. The commentary, have a moderator there so that have them keep talking throughout the entire film instead of stopping in long pauses and spots. So I'm like, again, did I fucking turn off the commentary accidentally? Nope, he's just not talking. And also, it would have been nice to get some actor interviews. Bradley Gray, which there are panels that he did for Elm Street 3, even though he's not on the Never Sleep Again documentary. I don't know why he would not want to be interviewed for this, because you got to be the lead in the movie. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, maybe. And that's another thing I noticed. They don't really talk about Bradley Gray. Other than that one part where the director asked Martin McDowell what advice should I give him. Other than that, they don't really talk about Bradley Gray or too much of the cast. And I mean, like, the students. Like, they talked about Martin McDowell, Pam Grier, Patrick Kilpatrick, John P. Ryan, Stacy Teach. But, like, the kids, they don't really talk much about them, whether on the commentary or the features. That's what would have been nice. It'd be interview Bradley Gray, or maybe some of the people who were on the part of the other teenagers, or interviews with Martin McDowell, Stacy Teach, or Pam Grier. Or it would have been nice to see some actors' interviews. So other than that, moderated for the commentary. The picture quality could be a bit improved. I would say this is not as good as their Chopping Mall and Waxwork 1 and 2 Blu-rays. But, yeah, I'd say it's more than decent. Like, decent seems like it's... To have this film in HD, Blu-ray, digitally restored. But again, there could be a bit more restoration at points. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in it, because I'm glad they didn't shit on the movie and stuff. And yeah, it looks better than the DVD. I keep repeating that, because I don't want to seem like this is a rant or anything. I just see room for improvement, but I would say if you're a fan of the film, it's worth picking up to have on Blu-ray. And plus, yeah, this is a pretty cool cover. And it has some nice stuff on it. Plus, it has 2 TV spots, a trailer, a still gallery, and a video promo, which is pretty much just showing the film in 7 minutes with music. And then what's funny, they have music, and then under that there's other music. So like they have this one music that's louder, but then if you listen closely, especially at the end of the 7 minutes, you hear music from Aliens. I'm like, huh, was this part of something else that had music from Aliens in it? Some other type of promotion, but they had to cover that, so copyright? Or is this footage taken from a work print that they use? Because in work prints they use music from other movies to set a tone before they get a composer in to do the score. I don't know, but that was kind of fun to see. Either way, I think it's worth it for anyone. If you don't have the film on DVD, I would say pick this up instead. And if you do have the DVD, I still think it's worth picking up just to have the film and a little bit. It's an improvement over the DVD. So I'm definitely glad to have this. So thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.